Good afternoon, sisters and brothers. Brother Mike Marlon McGuire here from Wild Olive Trees. I had a question from someone, a couple people recently, and they asked me, what happens to us when we die? Where do we go? You know, because they were taught, just like I was taught when I was young, that when we die, you know, we go to heaven, we go to the third heaven. You know, and that's a fallacy. That's not biblical, and we're going to show you that today just with a few scriptures. There's a lot of Christendom that teaches out there that when we die, we have this little entity, this little being inside of us. So, and when we die, that being or that little entity inside of us goes up to the third heaven, and we go up there with all our loved ones, and we're smiling down on everybody, and we're not in pain anymore. But the Bible does not support that theory. It's a bad doctrine. It's a doctrine of devils, because Satan wants us to believe that, because he's the one who wanted to be above the Most High, in the heaven above the firmament. He wanted to be like God or above God, and that's why he was cast out of the third heaven, and he's down here on earth, seeking whom he may devour. So let's get into this. What happens to us when we die? That's an excellent question, by the way. It's an excellent question. You know, until the Lord gave me understanding, I had no idea. I had no idea, and nor did I, honestly, did I care, because I was lied to so much as a youngster. You know, I was just so confused. But we're gonna start it off with the ingredients. What's inside of us? How did God make us? What did he make us from, right? And it's one verse. Genesis chapter 2, sisters and brothers. We're going to read one verse, verse 7. Genesis 2 and verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. So there we have it. God formed man from the dust of the ground, from dirt, and he breathed his breath into Adam's nostrils, and Adam became a living soul. And that goes for all the rest of us. There's two ingredients, right? Dust, dirt, and God's breath of life, right? That's a spirit. The breath of life is a spirit. He breathed the spirit into our nostrils, right? All we are, the simplicity of the matter is, we're all walking, talking dirt. That's it. You rub your arm, you don't shower for a few days, what happens? You see dirt in the crevices of your arm, right? Or wherever on your body. That's why we got to shower, because we're dirt, right? Simple, simplicity of Christ. Let's go to the next place. We're going to go into Job chapter 27. Job 27. We're at this beautiful park here in southern Illinois, and the park's actually named after a former ball player, a catcher in the major leagues, and he was a catcher for the late great 72 3-4 Oakland Athletics team. So, and I was a youngster. I was 7, 8, 9 years old those 3 years. I remember watching those 3 World Series. The Oakland A's won back-to-back World Series. But enough of that. Let's stay focused on what happens to us when we die. It's a beautiful day here. So we're in Job chapter 27. We're gonna read one verse here, right? One verse, verse 3. So, all the while my breath is in me, and the Spirit of God is in my nostrils. There you go. The breath is the Spirit of God. That's it. 2 ingredients, breath and dirt. That's all we are. Let's go to the next place. Job chapter 33. Just go up a few chapters. Job 33, and we're going to read one verse here. Simplicity of Christ, sisters and brothers. Simplicity of Christ. There's so many lies being told out there, so many fables, so many traditions and doctrines of man, and it's got people confused. And it's got people believing. And then when people ask you and you tell them, now, you know, your cousin Louie and your mother Mamie's not up in heaven smiling down on you. She's in the grave. She's waiting for the first or second resurrection to be resurrected. You know, what need would there be of a resurrection if we were all in heaven, in hell, or purgatory, which is another fallacy? There's no such animal. There's no such beast. It's not biblical. And if we can't book it, it's straight up crooked, plain and simple. So Job chapter 33 and one verse here, verse 4. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life, right? We read that in Genesis chapter 2 and 7. God breathed his breath into his nostril, and man became a living soul, right? Simplicity. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty has given me life, right? So, Let's go to the next place. Acts chapter 17. Acts 17. Go to the New Testament. Acts 17. He's under here. Acts 17, and we are going to read one verse here, verse 25. Neither is worshipped with men's hands as though he needed anything, right? Seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. Who giveth all life and breath to all things? God, right? The Father, the protocol, the order of things. God, the Father, gave it to Jesus. Jesus created everything, right? But he gave it to the angels, right? The angels are ministering spirits. They're servants of Jesus. They work for the Lord, right? So the Father gave it to Jesus. Jesus gave it to the angel. The angel gave it to the natural branch or Israelite to teach all the other nations this truth, this uncut word of truth. And that's why there's so many false doctrines out there, sisters and brothers, because you got people trying to teach something that they weren't given understanding to teach. You know, so they weren't given the oracles of God. And if you weren't taught by the nation of people given the oracles of God to teach, only one nation was given it, and that's physical Israel, or someone who was taught by them, then you're not getting the uncut truth of God. And don't feel bad. I was lost in the sauce most of my life until the Lord decided to give me understanding after a 6-year search. So we're almost done. Let's go. Let's see where we're at in here. Let's cancel that. Okay. Now we're going to go back. We're going to go into the Psalms, the book of Psalms, Psalms 104. We're going to read one verse here. Psalms 104. Psalms 104. Yeah, there's so much bad doctrine being taught. But people are waking up. People are they're searching. They're tired of being lied to. Tired of being misinformed. And that's a beautiful thing. Psalms 104, and we're going to read one verse here. Verse 29. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, they die and return to their dust. So when man dieth, his breath that God put in his nostrils goes back to the third heaven, right? And the body that God made from the dust of the ground goes back into the dirt. Walking, talking dirt. It's that simple. Let's go to the last place. We're going to go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Oops, going the wrong way there, buddy. Ecclesiastes chapter 12. Ecclesiastes 12. And we are going to read one verse here, verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, right, where we were created from, by Jesus, because Jesus created all things. We've never seen the Father or heard his voice at any time. Jesus, from Genesis to Revelation, it's the only God we've ever dealt with, right? Let's start from the beginning. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it. And that spirit is none other than the breath, the spirit of God that he put in our nostrils. And if you put a pillow over somebody's face, what's going to happen? They're going to stop breathing, right? They're going to become a dead soul, live soul, dead soul. They're going to become dead. Their body's going to return into the earth, and that breath that God put in their nostrils is going to go back to the the third heaven, to the Father and to the Son. So that's it, sisters and brothers. What happens to us when we die? There's no little entity, there's no little being inside of us, just two ingredients. Simplicity of Christ. The breath of life came from King Jesus, and dirt. We're all walking, talking dirt. So listen, if nobody told you they love you today, I love you. But more importantly, the boss loves us when we fear him and keep his commandments. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the whole conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Let's read 14 today. For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. I hope this lesson was edifying to the hearers. Most importantly, I hope it was pleasing to the Most High, great and mighty God of Israel, the Father and the Son, Jesus and Jesus. I thank you for your time.